it's Kat here from Jolly Jam Journals. Welcome to my channel. This is my crafting channel where I bring to you tutorials, I do flip throughs, I make junk journals, and I do DIY inspirations, anything really related to journals. I have finally finished my December design team project and I am a matter of hours from the deadline, so I really took it to the wire. December's been a huge month for me and Christmas just came too quickly. So on the day I had a beautiful day, so that's the main thing, and I got to spend it with my family. So I have been busy putting together this journal, and I have uploaded 2 videos. I thought, well, while I'm doing the process, I'll film, because I'm trying to get used to doing these little craft with me's as well, which is quite challenging when you are crafting and also talking at the same time. So I will get better, I promise. But in the first video I talked about this journal here, which I bought. I know I looked it up online in my online account, and I bought this from Chic Sparrow. Now I'm in Australia, I'm in Swan Valley, Perth, and I ordered it from America, so it was quite costly, but it was a birthday present and a treat to myself. So this is the Chic Sparrow Odyssey Hera. It's an A5. It's a green. I'm not sure what the actual color is. I didn't go that deeply into it. But when I ordered it, I also got the ink splatters, and I got the coffee mug stains on it as well. Plus I got the etching here into the leather, and it says, if you can't read it, it says, "Fill your paper with breathings of your heart." Now, I'm not sure if I'm right here, but I think it's a David Wordsworth, or is it William Wordsworth? I'm terrible at these sorts of things. But anyway, beautiful quote that spoke to me. And this is the purpose of why I bought this journal. So since I've been into junk journals, this has kind of been on the side because I got all excited about that. And so I've been actually journaling in my own junk journals. But I just wanted to get this out again and use it. So I was thinking about my design team project, plus also that I hadn't made my journal for 2020, and also that I wanted to use this again. So I came up with a bit of an idea that I'm going to run with for this year. So before I dive into it, I just did want to show you the journal. So as I said, it's an A5. It's been stitched on the edge, beautiful leather, a Chic Sparrow, absolutely beautiful quality. This little bow here, I love tartan, and I found this in an op shop, and it's a little girl's hair bow. So I deconstructed it. There was a little bit of glue, so I put the bling on there just to freshen it up a little bit. So it's got the elastic that keeps it closed. Now I've got my little angel here. Now she used to be, it's a button, and she used to be on an alpaca scarf, but the scarf has long gone, but I've always kept the little button. So she lives on here, which was one of the first things I did put on here. And this little tassel here is actually a bracelet that I found in an op shop, and it's got a little rose flower, a pair of high heels, a little love heart, and it's got a little perfume bottle. So I've always loved that. That's always lived there. So I'll just open up the journal so we can have a look at the inside. So I don't know if you can get this anymore because she does retire things. So I don't know if you can actually get this one, but she's got beautiful journals. And if I lived in America, I would definitely order more. In fact, there is an Australian Facebook group here where you know, people destash, and I have picked up a couple other journals here in Australia. So on the inside cover, you get these 3 little pockets, and in here I have actually got some scripture cards that I've had for quite some time. Now I remember I just cut these out and I laminated them, and you can see that they're not very even, and they're a bit kind of, yeah, bit ordinary. And that'll be a project that I'll do down the track. And this is actually from a napkin ring, and I've always kind of kept it, and I thought I would put it into a journal somehow, but at the moment it just lives in there. So now this inside little sleeve here is this vellum pocket that I made in my first video. Now I will link up the video to up the top there so you can see that if you like. So what I'm keeping in here is just some die cuts and some ephemera, so that as I'm journaling I can just open this up and I can just pull out what I need, and as I'm inspired I can use that in my journal. So that lives in there. So on the back page, like on the very back of the journal, I've got this other little pocket here, and in here is a little bit more ephemera, but I've also got these stickers. No, they're not stickers, they're stamps, sorry. Everyday journaling, and this is from Helen Colebrook. Now I've been saying her name wrong, so I do apologize for that, but I love her. I watch her channel and I get a lot of inspiration from her, and I ordered her book, and I've ordered some dies, and I ordered this little stamp set. So you can see it's got like the little cloud for the weather, arrows, just some, you know, headphones, computer screen, book, just some banners and other little things there, shopping, time, you know. I just think this would be quite handy to use as I'm journaling. It's probably more for like when I do my bullet journaling, but I will just sit that in there. I might transfer that over to my bullet journal, because that's another job I need to do, is set up that. I've set up 2020, but I haven't done January, so that will be tomorrow's job. So as I talked about, so I've done a video 1 and video 2. Video 1, I talked about my idea for 2020 and what I'm going to do for my own personal journaling. So this first signature here will be my summer journal. So in Australia, we've still got 2 months of summer left. So we've got January and February. So that is what I'm going to journal in for January and February. So then this one here will be my autumn journal. So there's 4 elastic inserts. So that'll be autumn, this will be winter, and then this will be spring, and then I will be able to fit in a December, just the month of December, which will be a Christmas one. Now it's already pretty chunky. I mean, I could fit definitely another one in there. So what I might have to do, and we'll see how I go, but I might have to remove like a signature, and then I think what I will do is sometime during the year I will make a cover, but I will get an idea of how wide a spine that I need, and then I can make a cover for that. So we'll see how we go, but it's my plans for the year. So what I think I'll do is I will actually take the journal out, because when I plan to write in it, I will be taking the journal out and then I'll be popping it back in. So, okay, so for the actual journal, I explained in my first video that this is something that I made, one of the first tutorials I followed along actually, and I made this from Wendy's Journal Adventure, and I had it sitting in my Chic Sparrow, and I never used it, and I used to look at it occasionally and say, oh, you know, oh, it's such a shame I've never actually, I went to all the trouble of making that and I've never actually used it. So I decided, when I was coming up with my idea for what I'm going to do for 2020, and knowing that I had to do my design team project for December, and also thinking, what am I going to do for my own journal? I thought, you know what, I'm just going to make my own journal. And I love the colors of this. I thought it would go really well. So this is what I've gone with, and it's turned out so well. I'm so pleased, because I've actually gotten to reuse and repurpose something that I'd made and I just never really got to use. So again, reusing your stash stuff. So this is the cover. This is an image that I got in some Happy Mail, and that's some gauze that I had coloured with some fabric paint that I had. A lot of my supplies I've picked up in op shops, so that fabric paint is something I definitely did pick up in my op shopping. What I did was with the gauze, and again I was given that because one of my clients was going through their medical supplies, and they were going to throw it away, and I said, oh, I can use it. So even that is repurposed and recycled. So I had 3 pieces of the gauze. So what I did was I opened them out, spread them out, and then I held them, well actually I put them down on the sink, and I got my yellow fabric paint and I kind of just squirted it, and then I just scrunched it and then I laid it out flat outside, and it dried. So it's all mottled, so it's not all yellow, it's kind of mottled. So maybe I'll show you that on the video. If you're interested, let me know in the comments below, and I'll do, because I do want to actually dye up some more fabrics. That's something I do want to get into this year. So this flower here, again, I picked this up in one of my op shopping little hauls. I found a children's headband that had 3 pretty flowers on it. So it was like a couple of dollars, if that, and all I did was I took the flowers off. So I didn't have to make that, that was already there. So how this works is you open up that. Now I've got some journaling space there, and this I got in some Happy Mail, and I've just put some of my ephemera pieces in there, and that was my Annie's Vintage World, which I've got down the road that I love to buy stuff from. So that's sitting in there. And then this is the cover. So what you do is you open that, and that's another one of the flowers that came on the headband. This is a magnet that broke, so I've kind of had that sitting around, so that lives there. And I used up the last little bit of this trim that I had. So there's a little journaling spot here that you can open up, and I can journal there, and I love my graph paper, and then I can flip that up and I've got some journaling space there as well. So that's that. So we can close that up. This is a Tim Holtz little medallion here, and that's got story on it. This is a washi sampler that I got from Davenport when I ordered some paints. Is it Jane Davenport or Liz Davenport? I'm getting myself confused, but yeah, if you're into crafting, you'll know who I mean. And so I've put my washi tape ready to go, and I wanted to get some bee themed washi tape, but I couldn't really find anything. Unfortunately, a lot of the stuff is in America, and it costs a lot in shipping, and I just couldn't justify spending the money on it. So I did find a digital download, which I thought, you know, for a couple of dollars, I was prepared to give that a go. So I got this one from Musings by Nikki Ripstrip Entomology, and I printed it out on some tracing paper that I had. Even my tracing paper I got from an op shop, and I was just looking here, and it says it was 28,600 rupees. So, and then I was looking here, and it's obviously come from Jakarta, Indonesia. But anyway, it's wound up in an op shop, so I grabbed it. It's an A3 size sheet, so I just cut it in half, and I fed that through my HP desk jet, I think it's called. It's a Office Pro desk jet. And I find that prints out quite well on vellum and on tracing paper. So I've still got some of these left, which I can use for another project. But you can see what I did was I cut down the strips. So these are kind of like got bees and stuff on them. And then on the back, I put some double-sided tape. So I've got those ready to go to decorate in my journal. So that lives in there, and we can pop that into that little pocket there. And I put some little honeycomb die cut there with a little bee there. So this is the front cover of the digital kit. So the digital kit is Be Happy and by LavenderBlu Art. And the other digital kit that I used was Honey to the Bee. That is her digital papers, which you can use as an add-on to the kit. And there's honeycomb sort of patterns and bee patterns through it, but it's more of a plainer paper. So if you don't want to tea stain, you can print that direct on your printer, and you'll get the effect. So they work well together. So this is some trim that I had in my stash because I have always been wanting to do a bee themed journal. So this was a tag that I had given to me in some Happy Mail. And again, I believe that that little pocket there is from Happy Mail. This is a little bee that I stamped from the Tim Holtz entomology stamp set. So that's some tea stain paper, and that's another one of the stamps from Tim Holtz. This is a little tuck pocket here that I got in some Happy Mail, and that's one of the images from the kit that I just backed with some scrap, like some paper that I had in my stash, and I've just edged it with some sewing. This is some parchment paper. So when I printed off, I either printed on parchment paper, yellow paper, or yeah, various sorts of paper, probably tea stain paper. So because I did use tea stain paper here, so this is an image that I had in my stash, and this is a paper bag from House of Honey, which is down the road from us in Swan Valley. We go there frequently, and we buy our honey from there. So I always keep their paper bags, and this is just a couple of bits of ephemera that I had. So this is some tea stain paper, and I've edged it with some lace, which I got op shopping, and I have used a polyester because I'm not really into polyester, and I just didn't know what to do with it, and someone suggested to use it when I tea stain my papers to imprint patterns on, and that was such a good idea, and I tried it, and this is the result. So that's the other side there. That's just some You Are My Sunshine that I found when I was going through some things, so I thought, oh, I'll put that one in there. This is now a pocket that I made from the digital kit. January is my birthday month, so I'm thinking I could pop some cards in there or something. So some tea stain paper that I've edged with lace, and this is some stamping that I did, and I think that this is from Stamping Up. I believe I got this from a D stash, and that's another one of their bee stamps from Tim Holtz. Beautiful page there from the kit. Just love the bees, and some carnations there. So this is some vellum that I used that was left over from when I made the vellum pocket, and this is the Tim Holtz wall paper, I think it's called, kit, and that's a tab there, and this is one of the tags that I made in the second video, so I'll link that above so you can see that one as well. So some parchment paper and another page from the kit. Some stenciling that I did with a honeycomb pattern stencil that I've got. So this pocket here houses my shaker tag that I did. I showed you the process of how I did that. This is a Suzanne's clothing tag that I kept because I loved the vellum and the two tags there, and I've altered that, so just with some scraps. So pretty much I printed off my pages, and I just sort of randomly pulled out literally 2 pages of Tim Holtz, and then I went through my supplies and I pulled out whatever bee themed things I had, and I just challenged myself to use and limit myself to that, and I've just about used everything. There was not that much left over. This is a pocket that I made from Eve on Preston, actually watching one of her videos, and this was a pamphlet that it's about bees, and it was in my mum's stash of stuff, so I pulled out a couple of pages out of her pamphlet. So yes, I'll be making more of those. I regularly shop at Suzanne, so I will be keeping those for sure. This is some paper that I was playing around with, and I was just using distressed ink, so I was really happy with the way that turned out. And this is a tag that I made using the entomology Tim Holtz stamps, and this I got in some Happy Mail. And as I said, January is my birthday month, so I really liked how that worked out. Happy Bee Day, so I thought I'll keep that. This is one of the pages from the Honey to the Bee kit. Now, you'll see in my videos when I was making the ephemera for this, I kept picking this up and I couldn't ever find a place to put it, and I really wanted it in the journal, so I ended up using it as a tuck spot, and I just did some stenciling on the background. So here's another page from the digital kit. Beautiful lace, and I love the black roses there. Some more stamping. That's a card that I made. I've just used recycled packaging and I've done some collaging there. This is one of the images from the kit. That is apothecary labels, I think they're called. No, can't think of the labels. I don't think this is a Tracy Fox. I think this was a free, someone did this and gave them away as a freebie. And I did find my sentiment stamp, my sentiments, so I put that in there. And this is just a little tuck spot pocket that I've got there. Those flowers I have pressed from my garden, and yeah, this was a little bee image that I stuck over the top. I was quite happy with how that turned out. So some tea stain paper and some of the Honey to the Bee paper. This is some paper from the digital kit. This was one of the tags that I made. I showed you how I made that, and that's got some of that gauze in the background there, and I just had that in my stash from some Happy Mail. Some more tea stain paper and some more of the digital kit there, and I made a pocket. And this is the middle of the signature, and I've got these lovely bee charms here, and I've left them long so that they can dangle at the bottom. At the moment I'm quite happy with them being like that, so that when it sits in my journal they just show at the bottom there, because I don't ever really plan on putting my journal up like that. It will always lay flat, so I think I will keep them like that. So some more paper there for some journaling space. This is a honey label that I ordered off Etsy, and this is a card that I got in some Happy Mail. So, hi Geo, thanks very much. Your card has wound up in my journal. And there's another page from the digital kit. So with the Be Happy digital kit, I printed every page off. So I did it A4, and I also did trim it down, so it's not quite A5, like A5. It's 12.5 by just under 20 centimeters. So I cut it down to fit in the journal. And also what I did was I trimmed the pages down so that they are fairly flush. Usually I just let them, you know, they're a bit odd there, but I don't mind because normally I put, you know, lace and things like that, and I quite like that look. But for this I wanted to have them quite neat and uniform. I forget where I was up to. I think I was there. Yeah. Some tea stain paper, some more of the Honey to the Bee paper, and this is a giant tag that I made. Very happy with how that turned out. This was a large index card, and I, you know, cut into a tag shape, and then I stitched the edges. This is an image from the kit, and I did some collaging with some Tim Holtz paper. I think it's from Ideology, and that was a little bumblebee image that I had in my stash. And that's some paper that I had left over when I cut the corner back here. When I did that, there was that piece there, so I thought, oh, that will make a handy pocket. So that ended up as a pocket. So this is another page from the digital kit. Again, love the bee. This is like a gold sparkly bee, or maybe it's covered in pollen, I don't know, but it looks like a gold sparkly bee to me, and there's some lace. Very pretty. And a moth stamp from Tim Holtz, Entomology. Some more paper from the Honey to the Bee. If you look, you can see that there's these lovely little bees with crowns on it, and it says Queen Bee. So this is another little pocket that flips up there for some journaling space, and I covered it with some gauze and one of the images, and I lined it with some of that bling. And this is another tag that I made in the second video, and I used that from packaging, so repurposing old packaging. And there's another page from the kit. Some parchment paper that I have edged with some lace, and some more of the digital paper there. This is just some plain yellow paper, copy paper, and I've got a tab there. I think this might be an Artie Mays, just some leftover in my stash that I had. Another one of the images from the kit. Some more stamping that I've done on some tea stain paper, and I've edged that with some lace. And this is the other pocket here, and another page from the kit. This is the other side of that paper bag. Parchment paper, another page from the kit, and that's a little flip up. And that was from a top, I believe, I bought, and I pulled off the lace from there. So I used that in quite a few projects, and I think that was the last of it. So to the back of the back page of the cover, and this is the back page of the actual signature cover with a altered index card, and this is just from some jewelry that I pulled off. So there we have it, all done. So thank you for watching, and have a lovely new year, and we will close out 2019. We have a lovely tradition in our family. It's actually my fiance who brought this tradition to me, and we just continued on with it because it's something he does in his family. But a little bit just before midnight, he opens up all the doors and he opens up all the windows, and the idea of that is that we flush out the old year and then we welcome in the new year. So happy new year, everyone. Have a lovely evening, and I'll see you in 2020. Take care. Bye.